In 1990, Mukete, you were called to the Cadet national team. How did it happen?
Sincerely, I will go to the point to call late Mr. Samuel George, who was a provincial youth and sport in charge of football selection in Southwest region, province by then. He saw me and called that I should get to him. I get to him. When I met him, he told me, are you ready to go to Yaoundé? I said, for what purpose? I don't know Yaoundé. He said, no, Mr. Mukete, you are a young footballer that I think you should go and try your luck. I will send you a letter within the week and you will find yourself to Yaoundé, and I believe you will make it. And that's how I left Limbe and I moved Victoria Limbe to Yaoundé. I arrived Douala to Yaoundé. I arrived Yaoundé very late in the evening. And there I don't know where to, to find myself out. I don't know who to contact. It was late at night by 8:30, 9. I have to pass the night there at the post, central post, for getting the morning. The snatchers, they took away my small luggage that I had, boots and everything. And the morning I was just asking, where is it? Sports Stadium in Yaoundé. People by then they were looking at me
directing you and looking strange.
Strange.
No handbag, nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
And finally you got to the stadium.
Finally,
so when you got there,
to the stadium by 10 o'clock in the morning, and so tired, I asked for Coach Sadi. Luckily, what I had was still my letter that was given to me, and I presented the letter to him. But I trekked from post to Omispo. So when I arrived there, I presented the letter. He said, "Oh, is the luggage?" I explained everything what I went through, and he said, sincerely, it had nothing to do with me. Let me just have a rest for the moment, and the afternoon he will look for me sport equipment, and that's how I was offered sport equipment. I went in for training, and after 30 minutes of play, he called for me out. He told me to rest, and the following day, I had to find myself in the Team A group. So I realized that maybe I'm very important in the group, but I had difficulties with French because by then it was not easy.
And there were some remarkable players you might have met there too.
Yes, I met David Pius, Bisson, Michael, Bonnie, so many of them, Ekima Beisa, these guys, Manjo. So many of them were coming from Southwest province.
And from the Francophone area, you had people like Foué?
Did you meet him in camp? Vivian, I met Song also, Ejente, Tutan Benat. Most of them, but I never knew them. But when after we were already in the Team A, that's why I became closer to them.
And then now you were in Team A. How did you find yourself? You get there, everybody wants a position. How did you do it?
Yeah, I struggled in my own way, as I believe the courage that I had on me was because I played with senior players in the province, and the league, Southwest League at that moment was more tougher than the young guys I'm seeing in front of them. So I had the edge over them. I fought against them, even though the language were dominating us.
But you were hard.
It was very hard to them because in Southwest province, if you are not hard, you are not somebody who is struggling to, you will not make it up.
And there you were, Mukete. After that training camp, you went back. You were called back again after 2 weeks.
After 2 weeks, we were called back. 75 of us. That national call-up was 75 of us. And we have to work ourselves again. 2 weeks, we have to go back to our provinces and call up again. We had about 4 trips before I find myself inside the national squad.
Here you were in the cadet national team. You had gotten your place now as a defender. Time for competition. You people went out for a competition. I remember the team went to Gabon.
Yeah, we played in Cameroon. I started playing as a midfielder, where we have Efon Elad, you have David Pius, you have Michael Bisson, But the others of the guys from the province, they could not make it possible, and they went back. So at that moment, with Kima Beisa and the rest, and Tutan, Aijo, all those young guys who were so young, who made it possible, and we drew here in Gabon 0-0.
And during that period, after Gabon, where did you go to continue the competition?
Yeah, we went to after Gabon. We were called to play against Ghana. Then later, the political issues. I will not go much back about it. We later informed that the competition will not forge.
Will not continue.
Longer.
Okay.
So we just ended there and went back to our province, and we have to continue back our training session with our former clubs.
But when you were in the Cadet national team, how did you became assistant captain? How did it happen?
Yeah, because my output, I did my best, and my act of responsibility that I showed that in the club, and we had a captain who was Mokoko, was playing with Diamant, and I was assistant. Cadet, we have Zimchem, who was the captain. Zimchem was the captain, also Mukoko. Then later I was introduced in as assistant captain.
They bring you now to the junior team at the time with Manga Ongene. How did it happen?
Yeah, I found myself there. Mostly we were the same generation, the cadet, because some of us were still active in our play style. Popo was in Division 1 by then. I was always among the first 10 players where we were selected in the Cameroon national team. They called for the best players of the year. So I had the opportunity to go back to join the junior national team. I was called up. That's how I integrated myself. I gave all what I had, and finally, when we called, the son was the captain, I was the assistant. We have a host of players, came out, the other generation, Mbe David, Onisej, a host of the players came in.
You went for continental competitions, the Nations Cup against Uganda.
That we had a difficult station in Uganda. At the eve of the match, they brought us food very late. The following morning, we gave them a program, how we are going to eat and prepare for the match. They did for their own time, that they know they have to work against our own plans of action. And that's how we have difficulties. Even in the breakfast we took, only the breakfast, the lunch we didn't took anything like lunch, because if we have to eat our lunch, we'll not meet up with our program, resting the digestion of the food, and forget to the pitch. So we boycott the meal, and we went to the pitch. Match was programmed at 3 o'clock. The match now programmed at 1 o'clock. So the time schedule, everything was changed. No TV at that moment. Maybe it was a plan. We don't know the strategy for the match. We can't tell. But we realized that no TV. And when the match started, we scored the first goal. We played. No, they scored us. We played until we equalized. When we equalized, that is 1-1 now. What happened? They don't even bother to wait for the teams to go back to their own site before they kick off. They started the match directly, which is out of rules. But luckily, we know in our Southwest advantage that we have been playing, that we don't follow rules football, we don't follow rules and regulations in remote areas. I never crossed to jubilate with Anya Banabe, who scored the goal. I stood on my own pole. They just passed the ball, send it direct. They knew there was nobody. I just find myself, the ball is coming. Luckily for me, I wanted to hold the ball in my hand. I said, no, maybe they have played there. I just break the ball with my leg. I tap it. I send it out of the field. By then, I was a small kunde by then, small hooker by then. I have very good drives. I send the ball out of the pitch, of the football pitch.
So that things could come to normal.
Come to normal. Before Manga Ongene, they were shouting. Coach Tungu was assistant coach. Manga Ongene was our head coach. We have Dr. Bezo with us. All of them were surprised. So if not me,
who had sent that ball out to bring some calm,
they would have scored. And that 2-1, nobody knows. We just barely about 10-15 minutes of the match. I think the match would have come to an end. And, victory would have been theirs.
Yes.
And
you would have been eliminated.
Yeah, really.
Now, you were qualified for the Junior Nations Cup. Can we get the story?
Yeah.
How did it
we
go?
Went to Mauritius Island, and we played in our own best. The best two teams have to qualify for the Junior World Cup. That's how the program was. And
so there was no trophy?
No, the trophy was given.
Okay.
Well, that's how I came in.
Yes.
We came in, we qualified. Cameroon and Ghana was the same pool, Pool A.
Yes.
Luckily, both of us qualified for the finals. And I played the finals. Ghana won us 2-0. But during the competition, the league matches, we won Ghana 2-0 and they won us the finals. So both of us now qualified for Australia. And the cup was given to Ghana, and we came second. So
now here you are, qualified for the World Cup. How was the World Cup?
The World Cup was great, but I would sincerely say we had a difficult moment. Preparation, as you people earlier know about in Cameroon, going out for national team, the preparation is always having difficulties. Sincerely, we never even walked out of the country for preparation, international matches. The preparation was very poor, and instead of us to leave the country, 22 players of us were left, just 18 of us. So I don't know why they scrutinized the list, but the delegation, you know what is happening, the delegation was more than even the players.
So you went 18, how did it go?
Yeah, we went there, we played the first match with Russia, we lose 2-0. The second match we played against Colombia, where we have Zambrano, was one of the big stars within them. We played and we lose the match 3 goals against 2. Then now we played the 10th match with Australia. That's when we won 2 goals to nothing. But we were eliminated because the first 2 teams have to qualify. We came 10th on our pool.